Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm back. Let me just check. Try and get the chat thing in the right place. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's crashed again. It's like I say, I need to change this PC. That will happen, and I should get some more reliability then. Yeah, yeah. It's automatically censoring some of the messages, so I'm having to uncensor them. So let me just catch up. Just find something else to load here. I'll show you a game I like actually. I play this a fair bit. Forgetting where it is now. I think where it is. It's in ROMs, PRG. Oh no, it's not. Back one. I like the way you've got. You can type on here. You know, you can like if I don't know if I do HA. Hang on. HA. It goes up to HA, so you can jump really quick. I don't know if you know that on the Ultimate HY Hypa-Ball. There we go. Probably going to play awful. The computer's going to hand my ass to me, probably. I always find some of these games that I used to play as a kid, they seemed really easy back then, and I used to be really good at them. And actually now, I find them super impossible until I've played them a fair bit. Must be with Virgin Media. Used to be with Virgin before they sold me to TalkTalk, which really annoyed me because they haven't got a very good reputation, TalkTalk, and I had nothing but trouble with TalkTalk, and then I went with BT, back to BT. Actually, I used to be with BT many years ago. The reason I went with BT is because the area I'm in here, we can get what's it called? Not ADSL. That's what, you know, it's not fibre. It's sort of in between Infinity. You know, I think it is fibre, but yeah, it's not cable. Can't get cable or because that always annoys me. Actually, I play on PS4 normally every night. Actually, I play Battlefield 5 a fair bit with a good friend of mine, Nathan, and he always winds me up because bragging about how fast his internet is. He's got like 100 meg connection, and I think mine's not too bad. It's better than it used to be. I think I'm 27 meg or 32 meg, something around that, something around the 32 meg, which is pretty good actually, with about 9 or 10 meg upstream. So it's perfect for streaming and things like that. You know, it takes no time at all to actually upload a video. Well, I say no time, maybe half an hour to upload a 1 hour video, something like that. Dave's Game Room, it's live. Hi Dave. Yep, you should check out Dave's Game Room channel as well. He does some repairs from time to time. He's been recently looking at some Sega Saturns. I think he was doing a mod actually, weren't you Dave, to do with the change in the power supply for a different one, like a mini ATX one or something like that. I can't quite remember now. Mikey Smith, hey guys, give the stream a like dudes. Yeah, thank you if you can. I'm probably going to get tons of thumbs downs. I always find if I do a video on a subject that people don't like, well, I'm going to give it a thumbs down, but you know what I mean. If I do a live stream for example, and I'm doing gameplays and waffle, people don't want to see that. They just want to see repairs. And I think the other thing is, and this is just, I guess, the problem with the modern world, YouTube in general, and I guess I'm like this to a degree myself when I watch videos, that you watch, you know, you see a video and it's an hour long, you think, oh, I can't be bothered watching all of that. So you skip through, you know, fast forward, you jump to the bits that you look interested in. There are certain channels I will religiously watch every single piece of, but you always get channels like that. And I guess my channel's no different than any other out there in that sense, that people are going to do that. And so you know, your audience retention, I think it's called on YouTube, ends up being pretty low. And you can't win. The bottom line is you can't win. If I did super short videos, I'd probably get criticised that I'm not giving enough detail. And I think one of the things with my videos is I like to try and show the thought process, even though sometimes I'm a bit like an idiot. You know, sometimes it takes me ages. Something can be blatantly obvious in front of me, and everybody else is thinking, you know, they know what it is. They're sort of shouting and screaming at the screen, and I'm like, oh, you know, try and get my brain into gear, and it takes me ages to work it out. Anyway, nevertheless, let's have a play of this. Yeah, I wanted to see a video up fixing the issue for us live. It's in German, this, isn't it? I've just noticed. Ein Spieler. One player, I think. J for joystick. Yeah, so you plug into the wrong port first of all. You pick your team, and you can see the characteristics in German there. That's not helping. Star keys, that's strength, reaction, yeah, tempo, speed. I'm guessing. It's amazing how you can take one language actually and transmute it to another language just using a kind of bit of common sense. Certainly German. And there's a reason for that actually, that English is kind of a bastardization version of German. You know, lots of English words came from German, as well as other cultures as well, other languages as well, but nevertheless, that's why there are some similarities there. But yeah, we'll pick our team. Now I want the robot. I guarantee, yeah, the computer's going to go for the robot. It always does. So I'll go for beard guy, I think. See who the computer picks. Green haired guy. Oh yeah, I'm not missing out on him, I don't think. Let's go for a parting boy. Mikey Smith, awesome channel. I'm not sure if he's talking about Dave's channel or my channel, but nevertheless, Dave's channel is an awesome channel. Electromachine, Nintendo learns. Need to learn homebrew projects. Aren't going to harm their sales. Yeah, agreed. I think the big problem with Nintendo in general is they're not doing themselves any favours, are they? Their PR, it must be going down and down and down continuously. Because it just seems to me that there's not a month goes by without. Yeah, there's not a month goes by without seeing something negative in the press about Nintendo. Just the way they stick advertising on channels, anything to do with anything Nintendo, it annoys the hell out of me, if I'm honest. Now, the thing I used to not have a problem with this game is see the colours of the characters. I'm the white ones, I think. I'm the white ones. Computer's the blue ones. And I don't know whether it's my eyes and old age or what, but I'm like, whoa, they look almost the same colour. I never used to notice that so much when I was younger. And my reactions are way slower on this particular game. I mean, it could be because of the latency and I capture it, but I mean, like, you can see, the computer scored twice already. I used to be able to nail the computer at this every single time when I played single. But this is one of those games that is best played with two players, you know, with actual joysticks. Right, got it. And then you pass it to yourself again. The technique here is to bounce it off the centre point until you get the thing in the right place. And I think you get more points actually, score-wise, if you fire the ball at an angle. So, let's just try that. Could be wrong. It might be from further away that you get more points. I honestly cannot remember. It's super addictive, this game, though. And like I say, if you get a mate on here at the same time, it's amazing fun to play. You can only hold the ball for a certain amount of time as well. If you hold it for more than about 2 or 3 seconds, you get like a timeout noise, and then the enemy gets the ball. Oh, I scored there. Amazing. 2-all. Electron Swoop, fifth Element. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, but Fifth Element's just reminded me of that film actually. It's quite a good film, I like that. It's a bit strange in places, but it's nevertheless a good film. Dave's Game Room must try this on the C64. Yeah, you must do. But the way you're going to enjoy it the most is when you have a mate round. That's for sure. I think one of the reasons is the computer AI, it's not really AI, is it? But, it is. The computer AI, if you like, is incredibly precise on this, and it's quite hard to control, actually, especially when the ball flips over to the other side of the screen, because you're suddenly, instead of looking on the right-hand side where you're watching the one guy running round, you're on the other side where you've got two. You've got a guy running along the ground. I think I held the ball for too long there. Yeah, I did, because they're giving it to the enemy team there, look. And he gets a free kick. Oh. Even when you get the ball, it's still quite challenging. Oh, get in. Got an angle. 4-5. It's still pretty challenging to get a goal. Oh. Us two praising the C64, death by CPC fanatics, thank God Notebook isn't here. Yeah, one thing I will admit is, when I was younger, you know, and even when I was in the trade and I worked on the CPC, because we had a few in for repair, it was nearly always RAM faults on them. That was all I ever saw with the CPC, actually. They were very, very, very reliable. That's one positive, well, another positive thing about the CPC, that back then, they seemed absolutely bulletproof. We used to get tons and tons of Spectrums in, and tons of C64s. C64s predominantly were CIA faults. That's, I would say, something like 70% of the C64s I ever had in for repair, and there was a lot. I repaired tons and tons of C64s. It was always the CIA, and it was nearly always caused by someone plugging a joystick in. That's what they would say. They'd say, I plugged a joystick in, and then it went off, switched it back on, and then, you know, I say I've got a problem, you know, my keyboard's not working, or my floppy drive's not working, or my whatever. It was nearly always that. I mean, the floppy drive was the other thing, you know, people would accidentally plug the floppy drive in while on and kill the other CIA. It was a similar thing with the Amiga, to be fair. We had quite a lot of Amigas in. It was either, with the Amiga, it was kind of roughly 50-50 between the floppy drive and the CIAs. There was the odd Fat Agnes. On the C64 we had a few SID chips, maybe 2 or 3 SID chips, but you know, tons, I mean like dozens and dozens and dozens of CIA faults over the years I worked on the C64s. Try and catch up some comments. Say Gadget UK 164, would there be an EGA version of Hypa-Ball of C64? EGA version? I'm not sure what you mean by that. When you say EGA, I'm thinking of EGA, you know, from the old PC, you know, 16 colour, was it 16 colour? Was it 8 colour? I forget. I think there probably is a version of Hypa-Ball for the C64. Morgan Just Games, what's this game, Chris? Hypa-Ball. H-Y-P-A, Hyper. Dave's Game Room would love to see this game on Amiga. Yeah, I was disappointed. I think this was produced by Odin Software, and I think the only place they sent it, you know, they ported it to was the C64, which is a shame really, because it is a really good game, and you could just imagine it being modernised on a 16-bit system like the Amiga, you know, with using Polar and stuff for the sound, and it would be really, really sweet. My last CPC definitely had a RAM fault after I accidentally plugged a 12-watt wall. Plugged it into a 12-volt wall. Ah, right, okay, with 5 volts instead of 5 volts. Yeah, I sidetracked myself, didn't I? We were talking about the CPC. The one thing I would say about the CPC, like I say, my opinion of it changed over the years. I always thought the CPC was. Well, got some messages hitting here. I always thought the CPC was a fairly weak games machine, you know, because I'd not really seen very many games on them. I think I had like a friend at school who had one, and I played a few games on that, but he picked the worst games you could possibly see on the CPC. That didn't really give me a high level of confidence that it was a good system. But also, the CPCs we had in for repair, you know, they'd always come in with a cassette, you know, so we could test it, and again, it was an awful game. I think one of them came with Golden Axe, and I quite liked the music on it, but I thought that it was just an awful version of it. But after having, you know, repaired a CPC on my channel and got the DDI3 there from Zaxxon, you know, being able to play the full library of CPC games, and more recently, I'm not showing this on my channel yet, I've got the flash card there for the GX4000 as well as C4 CPC, is it called? I've had a lot of chance to play lots of different CPC games, and there are some really, really, really good titles on there, really nice ports of things, and the graphics are amazing and the sound's amazing. I think the one thing that lets the CPC down, it's the same thing as the BBC, it was the video chip, wasn't it? So when you're in certain screen modes to get, you know, lots of definition, you know, higher resolution, and lots of colour, it starts to be a bit too slow. But there were lots of games that, you know, cleverly use split screen modes and things like that. It's pretty good, the CPC. It doesn't quite deserve the reputation it gets, I think. Hence the comment that I put on one of that video of, you know, it being underappreciated. I do think it's really good. There are some cool games on there. Anyway, I am totally rambling on, and I'm not playing this very well. So let's try and find something else. I'm probably going to get off soon, because I haven't had my tea yet, and I'm just feeling a bit tired in general, and I'm sure you're probably all getting bored. let's just see if we can catch up with a few of the messages here. Sam Fox Strip Poker. It's amazing how exciting things like that were as a kid when you realise they're just absolutely pathetic, aren't they? Really, they're awful. I'm amazed they even sold. Built an adapter. Speaker controls my C64 Amigas. Electronash, does that adapter mainly have diodes on it? Yep, a jumper to switch between C64 or Amiga. I didn't know you could kill a C64 like that. Yeah, there's something else out there. I'm trying to think what it was now. Mega Drive pads. I think you've got to be super careful connecting a Mega Drive pad up to a C64, because I think one of the buttons shorts a couple of the contacts out or something. I think you're alright if you only use the right buttons, but if you press the wrong button, like the C button or something, I forget which one it is, you'll cause a short there and it can kill the CIA. That might be the case with the Amiga. I might be getting confused, or it might be that it's okay with the Amiga but it's not alright with the Mega Drive. I think that's the case. I think it's alright with the Amiga but it's not okay with the Mega Drive. I'm sure Electronash will post down below because he's bound to know. You can use the Master System pads on the Amiga, because I've got one of those. I've not loaded the video yet, but I got the one that came from Right Retro Gaming actually. That'll be another video to go up soon. I've got tons of controllers. I mean, like 40 odd controllers. It's going to be, I think I'm going to upload them all within a week, and it's going to be controller week. You know, it's going to be like 30 or 40 odd controller repairs, all for different systems or something. One of them is that Master System pad. And yeah, I got one of those working, and it's obviously two buttons, A and B, and on an Amiga it works as A and B. So any of the two button games, it works really, really well. I'm trying to think what the game was. Banshee. Yeah, Banshee's a good example of that. That'll support two buttons, and that's really good with the Master System pad. The one thing I don't like about the Master System pad is the D-pad is pretty awful on it. It's, you know, it feels a bit hard, and I don't know, it's not very forgiving on the thumb, is it? For a while you start to get a sore thumb. It's a bit like that with the GX4000 pads to a degree. Mega Drive pads, Killer C64. Mike Smith agreed the Nomad repair was awesome, thank you. It was really, really good of Dennis Vandenbroek to send that. I'm still blown away with that Nomad, it's awesome. Lovely system. The funny thing is, when I get certain systems, I think, why didn't I get this system sooner? And the Nomad's a good example of that. And in fact, the Archimedes, I've got part 3 of the Archimedes to upload soon. I think one of the things with the Archimedes, I've just recorded so much footage, it's going to take me ages to work through whether it's going to be 3 parts or 4 parts or more, and what to include and what not to include. I think as it stands now, part 3 could be an hour and a half long, and I think that's too long. It's probably going to take me ages to edit that. And there's still some stuff I need to do to you know, complete that video really. And the Archimedes in general, I haven't really finished with it because I need to do a recap on it as well. But I mean, like the stuff you've not seen, I've done some a lot of game captures and stuff. There's a lot of really, really good ports on the Archimedes actually. It's a shame it didn't get as much interest as the Amiga and the ST, because if it had done, it could have been a really good competitor with those systems. It could have really stood you know, a chance of surviving a lot longer, I think. Although ultimately it went the same way as the Amiga, didn't it, for the same sorts of reasons, because it wasn't a PC ultimately. Electronash, Chameleon's damage proof because it doesn't even exist. Yeah, it's another one of these systems that goes on Kickstarter and Indiegogo that never seems to meet the light of day, or see the light of day. Deeply Cynical, I use the 64 JPX adapter. So I've got yes, no one's good, sir. Damn, I need a D-pad for years from 64, never knew that. Yeah, even just standard controllers with the C64, most of the time I'll switch the system off before I change the controller over, and it's you know, it sounds crazy, but just something as simple as you accidentally putting your fingers on the side of the C64 trying to find the port while you're trying to put the joystick in, that little bit of ESD from your hand whilst you've been, you know, playing and, you know, building up some charge there, it's another reason why the CIAs die on them. Dave Scream, yeah, I can. Sorry, I'm just so tired now. I can hardly focus at all. At Deeply Cynical, that sounds good. could be useful in Genesis. Right, I'm off. Good night. Good night, Mike Smith. Thanks for joining. Electronash, Christopher Magnum. Usually it ends up zapping one of the CIA chips. I think Chris did a video on that show. They're essentially the same chip as using the Amiga. Yeah, I did a video on that. That's thanks for mentioning that. I'd forgotten about that. There is one there testing the 8520, is it? In the C64, and it works. The only way it doesn't work is the time of day stuff. You know, there's a timer. You know, each of the CIs has a timer built in there. And I think the Amiga format is some sort of BCD binary format, and it's subtly different to the way it works in the C64. So anything that uses that timer will not work. Yeah, I can't keep up with messages here. Spider McGavenport, I cannot believe you could use, say, Master System games on the Nomad. Yeah, bear in mind you've got to have some sort of adapter. You know, so you could, once you've done that mod, you could connect a power-based adapter to it and then plug Master System carts in. But the way that I was doing it is with the EverDrive. The EverDrive will just, you know, if you get a Mega EverDrive, or just, I think the standard EverDrive should work, perhaps for the Nomad or Mega Drive or Genesis, and you can play Master System ROMs on those systems. There are one or two games, not very many, there are one or two games that will not work on the Master System, on the Mega Drive or the Genesis or Nomad. Some sort of minor compatibility bug with the way they implemented the Master System stuff in those systems, but like 99.9% of the library, it works fine. Electronash, mate, don't mind us if you're tired. Yeah, thanks, Electronash. I'm going to get off in a few minutes, so just try and catch up with the rest of these. Get some rest if you feel rough, mate. Retro Collections, cheers, mate. Yeah, thank you very much for the Game Gear you donated to me as well, actually. That's Daniel Vieira. Much appreciated. I may have a question Nomad screen. Modded mine with a regular composite screen a while back, but the one you used looks better. Yeah, I think from what I've seen, there are 2 or 3, maybe even more different screens out there. What I'll do is I'll look on eBay later, and all 3 parts of the video I'll post a link to the screen that looks identical to the one I've got, actually, because it is a good screen. The only thing I didn't really convey very well in that video is, and I might be able to do a catch-up, you know, an update video or something at some point on it. If you look super close, you've got these little diagonal lines, like a diagonal wavy lines going across the LCD there. And this was with or without the switching mod. So even when you had the 5 volt, in fact, no, it wasn't actually, now I think about it, because I thought at the end of that third video, I was surmising that actually it was probably the DC to DC converter. I think it is. I think when I just used 5 volts straight from the bench power supply, it was okay. I didn't get the wavy lines there, so I think it is the DC to DC converter there. But that screen is really good, actually. Aside from the fact you've got, you know, a strip of pixels on each side, you know, top and bottom just missing off a little bit, but they're in the border of the screen there, so you don't see them. It's not like you're missing text and things like that. You just miss the very outside of the border by a little bit. Question: what do you think of the C64 PSU from Electroware? I haven't actually seen it, but I have seen a few of these modern replacement PSUs for the C64, and they're quite good. I think the one I did look at, I think was the one that was on Jan Beta's. Was it Jan Beta's channel? I forget. I think Jan Beta made one of his own, didn't he? One of the things you've got to take into account if you make your own power supply, because it's not rocket science. You could just, you know, get a mini ATX, you know, one of those tiny little Pico power supplies and make one out of that. But the thing is, the time of day stuff we were talking about before, it relies on a 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz if you're in the US pulse from the AC input. So if you've not got that AC input there with the, you know, proper pulse on it, the right frequency, your time of day stuff's messed up. Floating Fat Man, oh, live gadget, hello, yeah, hello back, yeah, nothing really much to see in this video other than me waffling. Yeah, they need a special graphics mode which Mega Drive doesn't emulate. Ah, okay. Yeah, so he's talking about, that was Mr. Midas2K, was talking about which games from the Master System were not compatible with the Mega Drive there. F-16 Flight Falcon uses an SG-1000 graphics mode and Mega Drive. Video chip isn't compatible with. Ah, okay, yeah, thanks, Deeply Cynical. So, yeah, that's an extension of what the other chap was saying there. I have a knockoff Mega Drive, works fine, but dare not update the firmware in case it bricks it. Yeah. Electron Ash OSC 1000 doesn't make sense. Electron Ash, well, I bypassed the inductor to feed it with 5 volts instead of 12. He's retracted the message. Did I say message? Yeah, you can tell I'm getting tired. I'm just totally losing it. My vision's going and everything. So we'll give it another minute or two. It needs the AC for 9 volt imports. Voltage doubler, generate 12 volt for the VIC. Yeah. And I think you had the AC on the port there as well, didn't you? As the user port. Is that what you're going to mention as well? I could be wrong. I might be thinking of the VIC-20 or the PETs or something now, but one of them's got the AC on the user port there. I don't think anything uses it. I think modems might have done. I don't think there's anything else that perhaps would have done. See what you did there, Electron Ash. It also used the time of day, Smith and J delete comment because it might have been a spoiler for anyone. I haven't seen an end game yet. Smith and J, I know, any experience with Philips CDI. I have one that won't close properly. It's not the belts, gets stuck when trying to pop the laser assembly up. Yeah, if you check out my, and it's going to be, it sounds like straight away there, it sounds like the same problem I had. On the Philips CDI, the spindle gets pushed down, but you can get a similar problem if the tray's not shutting. Sounds like the mechanism's not in the right place or something. You might have a different model than the one I looked at, the 210. It's one of those things you're going to have to play it by, what's the word? Play it by eye kind of thing. Just take it to pieces and carefully inspect it. Try and eject it when it's in pieces, and try and close the thing and see what's catching where, and see if you can try and make sense of what's going on. But the most common problem with the CDI, other than the belts, which you already mentioned, is the spindle getting pressed down, and that can cause some problems. It might even be raised up. That might stop the tray from coming out. I don't know. Try something motors. Okay, I'm checking this new loading device. That's just because World War 3. Electron Ash, I don't think the C64 needs more than about 200 milliamps on the 9 volt AC line. Josley, hello Chris, hope you're having a great time. I'm really tired actually. It's been great just to catch up with people here and to see so many messages, so many questions and things. I do like replying to some of these questions and getting discussions and things going about various things. It's the one thing I do like about participating in other people's live streams. You do get some really interesting chats going on. I always learn something, certainly. Modern line 10 cleaned it, lubed it, swapped belts and motors. I using the original PSU, wedge shaped. The keyboard stopped working. This is just me reading chat now, isn't it? I think my C64 VIC-20 running off effects pedal power supply. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna get off, guys, because you might be able to tell for the last 20 minutes I've gone downhill to the point where I just cannot focus. I need to go eat something and go watch a film, I think. I might try and do a live stream, maybe again tomorrow, just for an hour, play some more games. I might get the Archimedes on here, actually, play some Archimedes games or something, just for something different, or maybe the Amiga, I don't know, maybe even the ST. But yeah, thank you very much for joining the stream here. Thanks for all the questions and answers and the commenting. Thanks for any thumbs ups and stuff, and any thumbs downs. There's bound to be a load of thumbs downs. People seem to hate me live streaming for whatever reason. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all another day, tomorrow perhaps. Bye.